And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know, that helps us out a ton. And, of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, I'm still in a hotel room, so, you know, work with the audio. You know I rock with you and you rock with me. Y'all rock with me even when the audio is not perfect, so I appreciate that. Today we're going to be talking about your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Today he had a no good, very bad, how many different superlatives or bad perlatives? Y'all know I make up my own words. How many different bad perlatives can we put on today for him, y'all? Today he saw the aftermath of many, many different bad things that went wrong for him in Chicago and his constituents. Can we blame it all on him? No, we can't. But he is the mayor and he's doing a terrible job. So we're going to say his illustrious sub 10% approval rating policies are leading to disastrous results for his constituents. And also, not only that, not only was somebody set on fire yesterday, not only was a single mom with sickle cell beat up with her children apparently by elementary school children yesterday, but also today an appeals court has blocked an order restricting the use of force of federal immigration assets in Chicago, y'all. So this is not gonna be a long video, but we're gonna get to all of that, y'all. So let's go ahead and hop into it. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're going to feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is going to go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story. So y'all, the first thing I'm gonna tell you about before we get to the single mom who was beat up, before we get to the woman who was set on fire, let me just tell you about this appeals court ruling today. CNN is reporting that a U.S. appeals court has temporarily blocked an order curtailing federal immigration enforcement in Chicago. So there was an order which restricted immigration enforcement. Okay, so the order from a lower court, from the district court, was, hey, chill out, fall back, immigration enforcement people, do less. And now the appeals court is like, district court, you can't tell them to do less, so they can keep doing what they were doing. So let's read. It says that the appeals court argued that the lower court judge overstepped when she imposed strict and wide-reaching restraints on how agents can interact with protesters and journalists. A 3-judge panel for the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals on Wednesday granted the Trump administration's emergency request to pause the order. So the order is restricting, so they're pausing the restriction. In other words, they're letting them go. They're letting the immigration enforcement free. They're letting them do what they were doing, okay? And CNN calls this an incremental victory, okay? In an incremental victory for the Trump administration, the appeals panel concluded Ellis's order, so Ellis was the district court judge, that Ellis's order was too prescriptive, writing in their decision that she is impermissibly infringing on the separation of powers between the executive branch and the courts. CNN says this is yet another twist in what has been a tense legal showdown in Chicago. Now, recently, Brandon Johnson, with his illustrious sub 10% approval rating self, he said that they were winning all of their court challenges. Not this time, Brandy boy, okay? This is yet another twist in what has been a tense legal showdown in Chicago between the administration, which desires wide latitude to use force on protesters, and the judge, who has expressed deep skepticism over the government's presentation of facts in court. So the immigration forces, y'all, they can do what it is that they do. Now, I'll tell you who shouldn't be able to do what it is that they do. That's violent children in Chicago. Remember when your boy, Brandon Johnson, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor, you know we have to say that, You remember when he said that he didn't want to put in a teen curfew? Because he didn't want to demonize the kids, y'all. He don't want kids to be seen as demons. Well, take a look at this news report. Now, of course, this doesn't represent all children, so I'm not saying that. But let's just see what a very small minority of kids in Chicago are up to these days.
CPS in Chicago police are investigating after a mother and children were attacked by students.
Community members and parents are outraged as the video was posted to social media. Winnie George is in the newsroom with more on the response. Winnie?
Good morning. Well, several people showed up to Orville Bright Public School Tuesday in support of the mother and her children. They are demanding accountability, saying those involved deserve consequences.
Absolutely, just gut-wrenching. It's appalling.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is frustrated after watching this viral social media video. It's caught the attention of those out of state. A Chicago mom, 33-year-old Corshonda Hatter, and her 2 children were attacked by students in the South Deering neighborhood near Orville Bright School.
We want to make sure that those individuals who are involved in this brutal attack, that there's accountability. But there's also something very disturbing about children carrying out such a violent act. There's clearly a need for some intervention there as well.
It was here Monday afternoon near 106th and South Bensley. A normal walk from home turned chaotic. At one point, Hatter and her kid ended up on the ground.
They were literally waiting the way we walk home just to jump all of us.
So now we waiting.
Just to jump all of us. So I asked my kids to come to the next side of the street with me so they wouldn't get jumped. So we kept walking. They followed us all the way there. And then they still fought us. They fought my son. They hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
Hatter and relatives met with school administrators and city leaders Tuesday morning. CBS says they are working with city departments and agencies to provide support to Hatter and her children. But many parents and community members say bullying seems to be an ongoing issue in the community, and the help that's needed is crucial.
It's been an ongoing thing in this community, and the parents don't take accountability for nothing their kids do. If my kids was out here being messy, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna let it be known.
So yeah, y'all, this sparked outrage, nationwide outrage. But that was until we heard about the woman who was set on fire. Now, I just want to remind y'all that Brandon Johnson, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor, he absolutely does not want people smoking. He doesn't want you to smoke on his CTA, y'all, on his trains.
And I believe we issued over 6,500, 6,400 tickets. There has to be other ways in which we can enforce. Of course, PSA announcements, continue to educate people, but also working with the police department to ensure that we are using the full force of government to be able to crack down on these smokers.
But yeah, some people are getting set on fire. Just tragic. Should never happen. This happened in New York not too long ago, happened in Chicago. I don't know what is provoking this. I have no idea. I can't even put myself even theoretically in the mind of somebody who would pour gasoline on another human for no reason on a train and set that person on fire. But, you know, this is the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago's Chicago.
U.S. Attorney Andrew Boutros described Lawrence Reed as a man with a very long criminal history who has had plenty of second chances until today, confirming that Reed is the same person who was charged with setting a fire outside of the Thompson Center back in 2020. Now, the 13-page criminal complaint that was released in advance of today's hearing contained several screenshots taken from the CTA surveillance video of the incident. It is that video that led investigators to determine that this was an unprovoked attack and to decide to charge Reed in federal court. The single charge is one of committing a terrorist attack on a mass transportation system, and it appears that it is the life sentence that it potentially carries with it that led the U.S. Attorney's Office to charge him with it. Andrew Boutros describing the chain of events and the aftermath of this event that took place Monday night on the Blue Line train as the train was approaching Clark and Lake.
This young woman was on her phone, going through her phone, minding her business, when Mr. Reed approached her and began throwing gasoline on her. Perhaps people were afraid to get involved, but what we could say is, even as she was on the ground trying to put herself out and is rolling on the ground, desperately trying to put out the fire, no one came to her aid until she was able to get off the train and to the platform. And when she finally stumbled down, 2 Samaritans came and put out all the blaze that was all consuming her.
Now, getting through this afternoon's hearing was in itself a challenge. Reed walked into the courtroom, his face covered from the nose down, immediately started speaking up, saying, I plead guilty multiple times, then saying he did not want to speak to the judge.
So yeah, y'all, very bad day for Johnson, very bad day for Chicago. I definitely want to send condolences, even though I don't think anybody died, but this is the sort of thing that should never happen. I'm sure all of you feel the same. Again, can we blame all of this on Brandon Johnson? Of course not. So I'm not pretending that we can, but I do think that he's not the man for the job, y'all. He's not the man for the job. He's not the man to clean up Chicago. He said they weren't losing in court. Well, he just lost in court. He doesn't want to demonize kids. Y'all, he needs to control these kids. He doesn't want people smoking on the train, and I agree with them. Nobody wants people smoking on the train, but maybe he should focus more on keeping the train safe in general, in addition to smoking, okay? I will agree with that part. But people getting shot on the train, people getting set on fire on the train, so we need to have our priorities straight, don't we? Y'all, let me know. I mean, do you think, I kind of feel like your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approved rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Yes, I am going to keep saying that. Y'all, I think he's probably going to be a one-term mayor. Chicago does not have a history of good mayors, though, so I don't know what comes after him, y'all. I mean, remember, Lori Lightfoot, she was a previous mayor. Y'all, let me know, what do you think about this? I mean, how do you understand this? I mean, I made a video earlier about Mamdani. Now we have Brandon Johnson. Y'all, these types of policies, these types of outlooks, these types of philosophies, they just don't work. Drop a comment. What do you have to say about this? Drop a comment down in the comments. But before you do, please stop. Hit the share button, y'all. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Y'all, I want to thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for rocking with me even when I'm in a hotel and the audio is off. If you really rock with us, check out our Patreon down in the description. It's the first link. You can support us further at the Patreon, y'all. Thank you for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.